Hello and goodbye July. It has been a really busy month. I've got a lot to talk about. I'm just gonna save some of you some time. I don't have any new material to give you other than this video for the month, which is really just gonna be me talking about my vacation to Japan. That's what I did half of the month. And just a bunch of pickups, whole bunch of video game pickups, video game soundtracks, some things that you might be interested in. And then I got like some music and some other super Japanesey stuff that I'm gonna go over. So as far as what I'm gonna do next, it's gonna be a video game review. That's what everybody wants to see. So I'm gonna put all the other projects on the back burner, but because I've been so busy this month, I haven't had a chance to work on it. So that's just the message for some of you that may not wanna sit through this video, because I know it's gonna be a long video. It might have to be a couple videos like I did last year. So I'm gonna do it as fast as I can, but you know how that goes. And the reason I've been busy the rest of the month is because the day before I left Japan, I got sick and I'm just still barely getting over it. You might be able to hear it. Throat is super sore today. I don't know what's going on. It's like, this is never ending. Saw the doctor. He's like, oh, you just got the crud. That's what you get when you travel, just the crud. I've never been sick when I come back from Japan. So yes, the reason I don't have anything for you guys this month other than this video is because I was in Japan from June 30th to July 15th. Brandon and I, my coworker Brandon from Game Show Ultra and some other stuff, he and I went to Japan.
Hi, my name is Brandon. I'm in Japan.
It was a little bit shorter than last time. I got a little spoiled last time, to be honest with you. 3-week vacation, you really can't beat that. But just for practical reasons and stuff, he's got a daughter, you know. We can't just be gone forever. So went to Tokyo, went to Kyoto, went to Nara, we climbed Mount Fuji. So let me just go over really quick some of the stuff we did. We stayed in Shinjuku the whole time, and we stayed in an Airbnb. It was probably about a half-hour walk to the train station, so that was our bad for not researching more. But the place we stayed was really nice, and so that was kind of a nice walk, but also we were very sweaty the entire time we were in Japan, just non-stop sweat. You'd be like comfortable AC in the Airbnb. Okay, let's go outside. Instant sweat. And we're just the sweaty foreigners the whole time. It's just like, how do you live in this environment? It's so hot and sweaty, but that's us. Went to a lot of places in Shinjuku, Tokyo area. Highlights from the trip include Robot Restaurant. We did that again. It was still cool, but just not as cool as the first time I went, because I remember walking out of there, my face hurt from smiling so much. And it was cool, but it was kind of more of the same. There were a few things that were a little bit different, and I felt like the show was a lot shorter, and when I left, they didn't give us an opportunity to like check out the robots or anything. It was just like, okay, show's over, please leave. And so I was like, okay. It was cool. Hopefully Brandon got to enjoy it, because I definitely hyped it up a lot. I've told several people that have been to Japan since, like, oh, you gotta go see Robot Restaurant. It is something to see. It's extremely touristy, big spectacle, crazy, gaudy, you know, whatever you want to say. It's very what people think of, like, that's super Japan. So that's what you expect. That's what you're gonna see. You're not gonna see probably any native Japanese people there. It's really just a bunch of foreigners. It's like Japanese Vegas or something. It's kind of tacky. It's crazy, but very fun and cool to see. Check it out if you go to Japan. I'd say it's something to stop by. If you're in the Shinjuku area, go check it out. Kabukicho. Be careful over there. Second day there, this is a stupid highlight, but it's a highlight of the trip. I caught a Farfetch'd. Our sole reason for being in Japan, to catch one of these guys. Oh. Eric caught a Farfetch'd. Okay, well, let's go home. All right, let's go to Europe.
Yes, Mr. Mime, we're on our way.
In Pokemon Go, if you don't know, has their own exclusive Pokemon. America's is Tauros or whatever. Japan's is Farfetch'd. Mr. Mime in Europe. Kangaskhan, I don't know how to say it, in Australia, and there's another one in the second generation, I think, that's for South America. It's like a beetle of some kind or something. But anyway, it's just kind of a cool thing. It's like, if I'm in the country, I'd like to try to get it. My cousin came from Japan a couple months ago, I think I talked about that, and she really wanted to catch the American exclusive Pokemon, Tauros, and she did. So it's really cool. It's just, you know, one of those notches in your belt kind of thing, especially for something so dumb as Pokemon Go. But I love Pokemon Go. I've been playing it a lot. I'll talk about it later. We saw a Farfetch'd the first day we were there, just on the radar, saying that it was far away, and we had just ordered like frosty beers from Kirin City. We went there a bunch of times, like, you know, the beer Kirin. They actually have like a restaurant, and they had all these different beers, like frozen beer. It had like this perfect frothy frozen whip on the top of it, like it looked like a, you know, like a turd or something like that, but it was super good. We had just gotten our beer, and then it was like, oh, it's over there. We should probably just go. No, we gotta sit here and drink our beer. It's like, dang it, and then it disappeared like immediately. So the next day we saw it, we went and got it, and we never saw it the rest of the trip. So I had seen people on Twitter being like, I had been in Japan for 2 weeks and I I didn't even get to see a far-fetched, so I was super lucky for that. We both caught it, super happy. It's like 14 CP, but I'm not gonna complain. It's just about getting one. So got one. Got to go to Baird Brewery in Harajuku, which was actually recommended by the owner of the Akihabara Japanese arcade near my house. He recommended it because that's one of the places he gets his beer from, and he was super impressed, really liked the beer. So I went there with my cousin Dinesh and her husband Kelly, and of course Brandon was there, and we were just drinking beer, and it was fun. And you know, got to have some beers and walk around Harajuku again and just kind of check out the place, and went back over to their area and, you know, had some Indian curry. It was super, super good. Pretty much the whole reason we went to Japan was because there's only a 2-month period of time-ish that you can go climb Mount Fuji. It's officially open, I guess, on July 1st or something like that. And July and August are the months to climb it because it's very high. I think it's almost, what is it, like 13,000 feet or something like that. And maybe 12, I don't know. And it's really, really high, and it's really, really cold. So if you go any other time of the year, I think you could pretty much climb it year round. I mean, technically, but you wouldn't ever want to do it because it's super dangerous and cold, and snow would be everywhere. So yeah, those are really the 2 months out of the year that you would want to do it. July and August are hottest months in Japan. I've always heard don't go in August because it's so hot and humid. July was super hot and humid. So I'm gonna try to go into Japan next time, like in the fall, maybe check it out in the winter, something like that. There's different things to do every year. You know, food's different, different festivals, different reasons to be there in different seasons. That didn't intend for that to rhyme, but it did. So anyway, we climbed Mount Fuji. It was a 2-day thing. We took a bus all the way up to the 5th station. So there's different stations on the mountain. You know, you start at the 5th station, and I think the 9th station is the last before the top, something like that. And when we got there, it was like 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I think we started our ascent. But you know, once you get to the 5th station, it's just kind of like a bunch of souvenir shops and that kind of stuff. It's kind of very touristy and very commercialized and that kind of thing, but it's not gonna bother me because it was cool. It's like a big thing. It's Mount Fuji. Most famous thing in Japan probably is Mount Fuji. So we started our ascent at 5 p.m.
Here we are, the base of Mount Fuji. Well, really, the 5th station.
We're gonna climb Mount Fuji,
Da, da, da.
and then we're gonna eat Mount Fugu.
That makes no sense.
Shut you!
Got to the 7th station and stayed at a hut about 7:30, something like that.
So serene and gorgeous. Ugh.
Pretty gorgeous so far. Just in case you guys don't know, we're at the top of Fuji.
Yep. All right, let's go back.
Go back.
Went to bed immediately and woke up again at 12:45 a.m. to continue our ascent. So overall, I think it took about 6 hours to get up the mountain, something like that. And then to go down was about 4 hours. So it's a lot faster, obviously, going downhill. It's a different group of muscles too, so it was kind of interesting. My feet were killing me. The second day, you know, on Mount Fuji, we ended up getting like 50,000 steps or something crazy like that, of course. But I would say that it was definitely an adventure. It was something cool, one of those notch in your belt thing. You always say climb Mount Fuji or something like that. But we didn't get to see the sunrise, which was the whole point. I mean, that's part of the point. I mean, it's the goal, really. You go up and try to get there by 4:30 when the sun rises and watch the sunrise at the top. That's the whole thing. So we made it right on time. We were even a little bit early, got to the top. You know, it was a pretty strenuous climb. A lot of like volcanic kind of rocky, jaggedy stuff you gotta climb up. It's not like a super technical climb, probably not even a technical climb. I'm not a climber, what do I know? No ropes or anything like that. You just walk up the whole thing. There's some steps, but it is not easy. Kind of sore after that, I think. And we got to the top and totally just clouds everywhere. Couldn't see anything, super dark, windy as heck. It was blowing, not like dirt, dust, maybe look pebbles. It was blowing rocks. We were just getting pelted with rocks. It was crazy. Got to the very top, people were like hiding, trying to find shelter. It was ridiculous. Brandon said, you know, not worth it. But I don't know, overall, I think we both figure it was like worth it for the experience. We did not get the payout at the end to get to see, you know, the sunrise and that kind of stuff. I walked around the corner at the very top trying to see the crater, and you could not see anything, and the wind literally blew me like back. I couldn't even like keep walking that direction. I was like, okay, wasn't meant to be. And then we started walking down after being up there for like 15 minutes of pretty much torture, I'll be honest with you. Mount Fuji, I guess, is so big, I've heard that it can attract its own weather system, where it can make its own weather or something like that. In the morning, sometimes it's clear, but by afternoon, it's almost always, it just envelops itself in clouds, which is kind of crazy. But this was 4:30 in the morning, and there was just nothing to see. So it was a very cool experience, a little bit disappointing, but also fun, and I'm glad that I did it. We both got walking sticks. Here's my walking stick. It's got like a little sticker at the top, and it says, Power Spot, Mount Fuji. So this one was from the 5th station, and it says above the heavens, or above the clouds, and that's totally what it was. And one of the things that's cool about this, obviously this was a pain to ship back. My cousin Danae shipped it back with help from Kelly. Thank you guys very much, because you know, this thing is a full-size walking stick, it's huge. But at every station you can get a little, was it a mark, a stamp, a burn, basically? They brand it, basically. So it comes with this 5th station stamp, and I think we couldn't find the 6th station. You had to kind of go off the track to get that. But the 7th station, this one's actually my favorite. This was from our hut. We stayed at the Kamaiwakang hut, and that's kind of like a, I don't know, little lady or something. I saw something that said Our Lady Mount Fuji. I don't know if it's actually like serious or not, but and there was another one with this guy on it. This was like on the 8th station, I believe. And then this one might have also been from the 8th, but 8th or 9th. I don't know if it ended up being in order, because it's like dark, and just like you say, hey, you know, can I get a stamp or whatever? And someone takes your stick away and comes back, and there's a new brand on it. So I didn't really specify where I wanted everything, but I think it's more or less in order. I know I definitely got a few on the same station, but you can just go to all these different huts that are on the mountain where you could stay. It's really just like a camping kind of experience, but it was indoors, and it's kind of like a little cabin, sort of shared area with a bunch of other people, you know, and it's difficult to get sleep from 7 o'clock to midnight and then just continue your set. Anyway, if you go to Japan in the summer, which is very hot and humid, be prepared for that. But if you go that time, I would recommend, you know, checking out Mount Fuji. Just be prepared. It's a total roll of the dice to see if it's what you want to see at the top. But I don't know, one of those things where you can just say bucket list. Went to Odaiba again, which is like a man-made island area. There's a lot of TV stations there, at least one. I think there's several. And there's also a bunch of, like a big mall and like a big Ferris wheel. It used to be the 2nd largest Ferris wheel in the world, and now it's like the 3rd or 4th. But just a cool place to go. Got to have all you could eat sushi, which the same place we went to, Tsukiji Nama Tabe Hodai Sushiya, which is like all you can eat fresh fish from Tsukiji restaurant or something like that. So yeah, that place is really good. I would recommend it. You know, sometimes you have to wait a while, but totally worth it. 50 bucks, all you can eat, and just, yeah, it's delicious. Really, really good sushi, like the best I've ever had, probably. We went to this like nostalgic lane, I think it was called, and it had a bunch of retro games. Got to see Wani Wani Panic, which was cool. I got to play that. Brandon shot some footage of me playing it, and it's something that was cool for me because I remember watching Arino on Game Center CX playing that game, and I was just like, you know, I think it was when he went to the Namco building. It's a Namco game, I'm pretty sure, and just seeing him play that game, actually being able to play it was really cool. And there was just so many cool, like, nostalgic things in there. And obviously I didn't ever live in Japan, but you know, there's like all these 80s, you know, pop stars and stuff on posters and that kind of thing, and little old games. I can't really describe it as well. Just check out the video and the pictures. How about that? That's cool. I'm done. If you're over there, go check it out. It's really cool. Got to go to the top of Skytree, which is the 2nd largest man-made building in the world. Like, you get to the top and you can see your shadow just out over the entire city. You get an idea of how high up you are. And you can also stand on the glass and look straight down, and you would just plummet to your doom. Eventually, you'd probably get bored on the way down. It's so freaking high. But got to do that. And you know, you pay a certain price to get to like 3/4 of the way up, and then you got to pay more to get to the top. It was cool. I mean, it was themed like Attack on Titan, so that was kind of cool. But I mean, once you've gone that high, it's kind of like higher is like, yeah, it's really high, you know. Very cool. Don't go if you're afraid of heights. You know, I kept feeling like the building was moving, but of course that's probably like jet lag at that point still, so who knows. But yeah, I mean, everything built in Japan is like made to resist earthquakes, so it's probably perfectly fine, but it's like, man, this is high. I heard that you could see from space like the shadow of the Skytree or something like that. I don't know if that's true, but really, really high. Check it out. We went to Kyoto, which is very cool, historic place. There's plenty of old, I mean, tons of old shrines and temples and a lot of history there. So very cool, totally different feel from Tokyo, really. I mean, you just walking down these old streets and stuff. I mean, I saw like, I don't know if it was a 7-Eleven or a Family Mart, but even that kind of had like an old Japanese style roof on it. We took a bullet train, Shinkansen, you know, which we ended up going, I think we were going up to around, no, maybe it was 160, 200. I guess there's different bullet trains that you can get on, and we were on one of the slower ones because we actually had a JR pass, which if you go to Japan for a long period of time and you're planning on taking bullet trains, I'd recommend. If you're not going to take a bullet train anywhere, you probably could save money just by taking the train and paying the fee every day that you go, or just getting like a Suica card or something, just scan your card and put money on it or whatever. It was very cool, but I think that we barely probably made it worthwhile with the JR pass, because it's like $400 for 2 weeks, and I guess it's like $150 each way by bullet train, so that knocked out a good portion of it already. And then we did take the train quite frequently. So if you're going to be riding the JR line, it's probably worth it if you're going to be going for a long time, or if you're going to be going long distances in various places in Japan. If you're going probably outside of Tokyo, it'd be worth it then. We stayed in Kyoto at a ryokan, which is a Japanese inn. So it's like a traditional Japanese inn, tatami mats, and you lay on futon on the floor and everything. And it was comfortable actually, but it was so hot. And I mean, we thought it was hot in Tokyo. It was like hotter in Kyoto, unbelievably somehow. So we're laying on the floor at night and we're sweating, and then the AC's on, and then that gets cold, and then you just kind of warm up, and then you're sweating again. It was kind of uncomfortable, but that's not the fault of anybody but the weather really at that point. But the ryokan was very nice. So got to see famous temples. The name escapes me, Fushimi something something. Really famous. You'll see it and you'll know it. And I guess that temple is Inari. Wait. Fushimi Inari something something shrine. That is like the shrine over all of the shrines in Japan, apparently. There's like over 30,000 shrines in Japan, but this is like the mother shrine essentially, and the other ones are like affiliated somehow. I didn't really understand everything I read about it, but yeah, it was very cool to see that. You know, you'll definitely recognize some of these shots, because like those red gates that just kind of go off into the distance. I guess some of these pillars are bought by companies, and they, you know, have their name on it or something like that. And the idea is it's a good luck thing as far as like getting money. So if they want to be, you know, profitable, they will buy gates and put it in there. So it kind of weird in that way, but also it's just really pretty, and you know, just the feeling of everything in Kyoto is very old. So it was really cool and historic feeling, but it's like, oh, there's Toyota's gate. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Since we were so far west in Japan, we were planning on stopping in Osaka. Didn't go there. I mean, that's known as Japan's kitchen. All the food in Japan is great. I think Japan is the country that has the most star Michelin restaurants or something like that. I might be mistaken or something, but I know that, you know, everything in Japan I've had was really good. This entire trip I didn't have any bad meals, but Osaka is the kitchen of Japan is what I've been told. So if there's gonna be a place that you're gonna have really good restaurants, that was the whole goal. Go to Osaka and get some good food, but weren't able to do that. So we did go to Nara, which was not very far from Kyoto. Pretty much like a 45-minute train ride, I think. And the attraction in Nara is the wild deer. Wild deer in Nara are all in this park. It's so hot, they're just like chilling in the shade and that kind of thing. Even though they're wild, they've learned that they, you know, since it's a tourist attraction, they've learned that if they bow, they get snacks. So you can buy deer biscuits. They're like little, you know, crackers. I don't know what's in them, but they're for deer. So I didn't take a bite or anything like that. Who knows how they're made or whatever. But so you feed the deer, but I guess you're supposed to make them bow 3 times or something like that before you give it to them. But I was just like giving it away. It's just like, it would bow once, but like, oh man, you get like a whole cracker. I don't care. So there were others, pretty much a very big tourist spot. I don't know if I saw any Japanese people there except for the ones that were selling the biscuits, just a bunch of tourists really playing. So I noticed that other people were a little more stingy with the crackers. They're just kind of like making them do a lot to get the, I was just giving it away. It's like, man, you're awesome. Just bowed once, here, have a bunch of crackers. So people were watching me like, man, this guy's just giving away all the crackers. So very cool. Got to pet the deer. They don't really like being pet on the head, I noticed. Brandon was always trying to pet their heads, and they're just kind of like, man, they don't like that. So you could pet them and stuff. I saw a girl actually put a biscuit in her mouth and fed the deer. Like, I'm like, man, you are gonna get bit. They are wild deer. Anyway, that's the attraction in Nara. Totally worth the trip to Nara just for that. Bowing deer. They bow to get fed. Freaking awesome. When we got back to the Tokyo area, we went to Nakano Broadway, which is I guess it's like if you don't want to go to Akihabara and have all the hassle and I guess the higher prices and that kind of thing, kind of an off the beaten path-ish would be Nakano Broadway. It's kind of like an indoor shopping, it is an indoor shopping mall, various levels and stuff, and there's some games and there's some toys and there's some figures and whatever else. So we just went there to check out games, and there were a few stores that sold games. Got some awesome stuff. I'm going to point it out in a bit. We also went to Takanobaba Game Center Mikado. And just a place that I saw a video about. I think my Japanese teacher told me about it. It was right by the train station, Takanobaba. Very cool. It was kind of hard to find, but lots of games, like a lot of fighting games. They had like a good mixture of like some old games and some new games. I got to play poppin' music, which I've always thought was really cool, even though I've only played it a couple times. And they actually had a Gambare Goemon song, so I was really happy to see that. Played that a few times. Got to play some old games, got to play some new games. One of the fighting games had this like really random game on it. I don't remember the name of it, but it's crazy. I'll try to figure it out and head it. We went to Kawasaki Warehouse, which was recommended by Matt Papa. He said that it was kind of like the Blade Runner arcade of arcades, and it is. It totally is crazy. The outside of the building is like fake rusted. I don't know, maybe it's really rusted, but it's meant to look like this dystopian future kind of thing. I don't know, like maybe like a future back streets of Hong Kong kind of thing. So it's very like rusty and just like you walk in and there's like steam and just rust, and it's kind of gritty, and when you walk in there's like fake chickens like hanging, you know, in the window sort of thing. Very weird. I was recording and then it said there was very clear signs about don't record or take pictures, and I was like crap, but I had already gotten some, so there you go. Very cool. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of everything. There were some older games, not super old, but some fair amount of older games. A lot of newer games, a lot of pachinko slots. It was a good variety of stuff. A lot of crane games and that kind of thing. So it was a really cool setting. Just the way it looked, the style definitely took it away. So that was very cool. Went to Tsukiji Fish Market. It was supposed to move in November of last year, and I don't know why. I remember seeing like on Japanese news, there was something about the quality of the land where they were trying to put it up. I don't remember. There was something about the ground. They decided that they couldn't move it yet. They were doing tests on where they were moving it to. So anyway, Tsukiji Fish Market is still where it's always been. I'm not sure where they're planning on moving it or when, but wow, if you go to Japan now, you can go check it out. So I got this shirt there, obviously. Oh, oops. So Brandon and I walked into a store and there was like a salesman that just wanted to put us in shirts right away. And he did a good job because we bought them. So anyway, there's a tuna shirt and there's a butt. While we were in Shinjuku, we went to a famous place called Golden Gai. G-A-I. Just a lot of tightly packed bars. People in Japan will say Shinjuku is fairly dangerous. Kabukicho would be probably the most dangerous. It's like the red light district and stuff. You know, there's like worries about Yakuza and that kind of thing. So generally, I found it to be fine. I mean, I'm from America. It's fairly dangerous. You gotta be a little bit careful. But anyway, Golden Gai is very cool. I would say it's a place to go if you're in the Shinjuku area. We went there one night and just walked into a random bar. Actually, I saw there was like a picture of Goemon, like the actual, you know, Goemon, not the video game character. And we went in there. It was just one guy behind the counter, Japanese guy, and nobody else in there. And it was very small. These bars are all very small. It was upstairs. And, you know, start talking to him in Japanese. This is probably the most I got to use my Japanese while I was there, just chatting with the bartender. And he was trying to learn English and I was trying to learn Japanese, so that was cool. And then just a whole bunch of foreigners started piling in there. It was a lot of fun. We got to talk to a couple from Belgium most of the night. And we just, at the end of the night, which was like, I think we didn't realize it, but it was 2 a.m. at that point, we went over to a nearby karaoke place and we sang karaoke. So that was really cool. Really one of the funnest nights while we were there. Awesome. We went to Akihabara with Matt and Jess and they gave us a tour. It was a bit later at night. We went to a really good donburi place, like, you know, rice and egg and like raw egg on it and like cheese and garlic. It was really good. And then we just kind of walked around. It was late, so a lot of the things were closed, but they knew some really cool video game shops. Just kind of like secret places that he knew about that had really awesome games. I saw this thing that was just the coolest item I didn't get. I've been looking for it for maybe like 2 decades or so. That sounds about right, actually. Gambare Goemon, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon on Nintendo 64, the soundtrack. I've been looking for it forever. I've had like an alert on eBay since, you know, I first got my account like in 98 or whatever, and I've never ever seen it. It's never popped up. I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to get it. Matt pointed out there was a Ganbare Goemon 2 soundtrack, you know, from the Famicom, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. It's 165 bucks American. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not that familiar. I don't remember that music that well, and it wasn't anything that really I had to have. And I was like, that's really cool, but I don't know. And I was sitting there, I was kind of aching about it, like maybe I should get it, man. The one I really want is the one on 64. And just to the left, I could see the sandal of Goemon on the Nintendo 64 one, and I freaking couldn't believe I've never seen it. So I'm super excited, and then immediately disappointed when I saw that the price was $1,000 American. I could not believe it. So I was really wrestling with the idea, and I just didn't have the money. While I probably could have put it on my credit card or borrowed some money from Brandon or something, I couldn't really justify, as big of a fan as I am, which I'm a huge fan, obviously, it's my favorite game ever. I wanted to buy it, but it's $1,000 for the soundtrack, which I know I can easily go online and just download it. I already have it. I made my own back in the day before it was on YouTube. Before YouTube existed, I made my own soundtrack on a CD of it, and I just couldn't do it. So really, really sad that I couldn't afford it. Really happy that I found it, but maybe someday. I don't know. If anyone knows where I can get one, please let me know. So fun hanging out with them. We got to play some games. We got to play some crane games. I won some stuff. Show you in a second. Thanks for hanging out, guys. It's really cool that you could take your time out of your day. I know everyone had just been at work, and then it was like, let's go out now. So yeah, thank you for doing that. We finished off our trip. We went to Hamazushi, kind of over by where my cousin lives. And Hamazushi is just, it's a conveyor belt sushi place, which is cool. You know, you got the conveyor belt, but they also have the express lane that brings you your order in the middle. And then when you get done, you put your plates in a slot like you would like a coin into an arcade or something like that. You put in 5 plates and you get a credit, and then it plays a little video. It's the same thing I probably showed you last year. A little video of your character either winning or losing, just like a predetermined thing. And once it's done, if you win, it drops a little toy capsule, and you open it up and you get your toy capsule. I'll show you what I got. So it's cool to get to hang out with my cousin Dinesh again. Thank you for doing that. I also gave her this stick so she could send it back for me. That was really nice. Thank you for doing that. Thank you. Went to McDonald's and had this limited time Pikachu McFlurry, which was like chocolate banana. It was delicious. It was like a small amount, but it was really, really good. And then on the way back on that train, I noticed I was just like, you know, something's not right with my throat, and it's been crap ever since. I got on the plane and I was just so sick. I watched a whole bunch of movies, Japanese movies. That was cool. But I've been just really, really out, you know, super sick. I was out of work for like 3 days, just sick, calling in sick, really sick, fever, you know, the whole 9 yards. Doctor was like, oh, just drink a lot of water. Like, oh, okay. That's usually the advice you get. Even though I was sick, when I had gotten back, my dad and I went to 2 Cellos because I had bought tickets like way back, and this was for Father's Day. So had to go to it even though I was sick, and it was really cool. 2 Cellos, if you don't know, I'm gonna put a link of their most popular video probably. They play a cover of AC/DC's Thunderstruck on 2 Cellos, and it is crazy. They played that for us. Here's some stuff. Freaking awesome, really cool concert. They played a lot of stuff from their new album, which I guess was a lot of covers of movie scores and a few others, and then they started getting into like a lot of AC/DC covers and like the more rock and stuff. Normally it's just the 2 cello guys, I guess, but they were accompanied by like a mini symphony kind of thing. So they even had a drummer. Really cool. So that's what I've been up to this month. Let's talk about what I've been playing before I get into all these pickups. I got so much. There's a game I'll show you in a minute. It is basically Samurai Pizza Cats. I don't know if you remember that, but I bought the Famicom version of the game, and I wanted it last year, and it was just one of those things where I think it was actually half the price of the one I ended up getting. I just didn't want to inconvenience the clerk at the time because I had already pulled all these other games off. He's like, okay, is that it? I was like, yep. And then I saw the game and I was like, oh, and I just didn't get it because I didn't want to hurt any feelings and be like, hey, can you go get this other one too? I should have done it, but I was just too shy to do that. I didn't want to inconvenience him. So I ended up finding it this time, probably twice as much, but you know, that's what I get for not being, I don't know, gung-ho about it. So I played that to completion. I'm gonna talk about what I played it on in a minute. These pickups are insane. So I beat the game. I played and beat Until Dawn, one of the free games this month on PSN, and I also downloaded and started playing Game of Thrones, which I think it's a Telltale game, I think. The same people that made the Walking Dead, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, yes, it's the same. I started playing the first chapter and didn't get too far into that yet, but it's cool. It's like the Walking Dead game if you played that. I picked up Pokemon Moon again because playing a lot of Pokemon Go lately, and Brandon is picking up, it's on the way now from Amazon, I think. He's getting Pokemon Sun, so we can finally, I've been trying to talk him into it for years. He's like, not Pokemon, that's for kids. But now that he's actually into Pokemon Go, he's like, yeah, maybe I want to check out these Pokemon games. I'm like, yes! So we can actually trade and that kind of thing. It's like, you know, Pokemon, you gotta have another person so you can trade and stuff. I think you can do stuff online, but I've never tried. So yes, Pokemon Go has been dominating my life this month, obviously. Played Pokemon Go a ton in Japan. Still trying to take in the sights and stuff, but oh, I gotta do this thing, oh yeah. But really looking for a Farfetch'd. Once I had done that, that was really what I needed to do. Trying these new raids out while we were in Japan, you know, get more coins and that kind of thing. The legendary Pokemon came out this month, like last week I think it was, and over on my lunch break at work last week, I actually walked over and I caught an Articuno with the help of a couple other people. It's really cool. I mean, I've never seen this before, this kind of like collaboration playing with other Pokemon players, but it's a really cool idea. The problem with it is though, if you're in a rural area, you're kind of SOL. If you're a really condensed area or like in a city like Denver, that's not so bad because you can actually find other people. You get the 2 hours to go get the Pokemon or whatever. So it was really cool to chat with them and like collaborate on this, on killing this thing, you know, sharing tips and that kind of thing. And then yesterday, Brandon and I went downtown and we went all through downtown trying to find all these legendaries. So we both have Articunos. He's got a Lugia. I tried to catch one and I failed. So I still have to get that one, and it expires on, well, today when this comes out anyway, July 31st. So I don't know, maybe they're gonna keep them out or not. It's kind of cool that it's limited because it's legendary, but at the same time, it's like if I don't get one, I'm gonna be upset because I actually paid money for the extra passes, which when it first came out, I was like, that's stupid. Why would I do that? I can get a free one every day. You're gonna want more than that if you wanna get the legendaries. So it's very clever what they did. It's very smart. Good job, Niantic or Niantic or whatever. I love you, but I hate you. But I love you. So yesterday was a lot of fun. Anyway, pickups, I got so many. I'm thinking this is gonna have to be a multiple part video, so there's the talking, here's the pickups in the next video, I guess. See you in the next video, sorry about it.